big energy.
Hold on.
Big energy.
Big.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting older now, got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind.
You see me?
To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand. I'm going pull four in the fucking white sand. I give it all to this fucking mic stand. If it's been done before, then I know I can. I'm on the rise, I'm trying to keep a level head. She want my time, she begging me to give me neck. I'd rather shed blood
Okay.
Put some weight on top my name, my time.
Yo, what's the deal, y'all? Hope all is well. Welcome back to another episode. I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon, and this is another episode of Nice and Neat. And as I'm sure many of you guys noticed, we've been gone for some time. It's been a lot of things happening in the world, specifically in America over the last couple of weeks, over the last month. And, you know, it's been very disheartening, fellas. It's been, I don't know if people seen Steve Kerr speak out about it, but the tragedy that happened in Texas, the tragedy that happened in Buffalo, we definitely want to extend our prayers and condolences to every one of those families, every one of the victims, and everyone involved. And, it's just unfortunate that we have to keep going down this path, but definitely want to extend our prayers and our condolences to the families involved. And, we just hope that some sort of change happens, some sort of legislation is implemented to where we don't have to continue to go down this path and we don't have to continue to use our voices in order to try to persuade people to save human lives. I know it's been weighing on a lot of us, and I just wanted to get that message out there for you guys before we begin talking about anything else on our platform. So the fellas of Nice and Neat, we definitely want to send our condolences to the families. Also, we also want to remind you there is an election coming up to where you can use your voice by voting. So make sure you go to the elections. You can mail it in. You can show up on the 7th. And that is how we can make a difference, how we can make a real change is by voting. I know some people may look at it and they may not feel that, but before we get to the point to where we have to question if our voice even matters, let's do the things that are even implemented for us to be able to make some change by voting. So make sure you head out to the polls and do that. Fellas, anything you guys want to say?
No, man, just echoing what you said, bro, man. Our hearts and our thoughts and prayers go out to all the families and victims affected. It's a tragic situation that's going on, and we hate to continue, like you said, we hate to continue to get up here and talk about the unfortunate things that are happening in the world, specifically in America, but this is real, and we got to do something about it. So like Jalon said, man, let's make sure we're exercising our right to vote, using our voice on the 7th, showing up, mailing in those elections, mailing in those polls, pulling up to the stations to get that vote in, because every vote counts. Our voice matters, as much as we may not think that it does. There's so many different things on a state level, and then what's the word I'm looking for? A national level, So there's different things that we could be voting for that can make a difference, in the world. So I encourage all of us to get out there and exercise our right to vote.
Yeah, man, just condolences and prayers, man, from us. And I think we just got to try to do the best we can as individuals to make the biggest difference we can as a community. It's a sad situation, but we're just hopeful for the best, and we're just praying. So.
Also want to definitely extend a major respect to Steve Kerr, and they're playing in the finals this evening. So want to send some major respect to them and him just using his voice. I'm wearing my jersey representing the finals. I'm a Laker fan, but want to send some love to the Warriors as they go against the Miami. I want to send some love to the Warriors as they go against the Celtics in this year's finals. But fellas, we're here.
We're back. We are here.
What's up, baby?
It's been some time. Obviously, as we said, there's been a lot going on. It's been a lot going on in the world. It's been a lot going on in our personal lives. And it's been a lot going on in pop culture too. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot going on in pop culture, you know, specifically music. Mm-hmm. There's been some interesting conversations going on in music. I don't know. You guys listen to Jack Harlow's album?
Yep.
What y'all think about it?
I think it's fire.
Slappers.
Yeah, I think it's a good album, man.
He's getting some backlash for it.
Why? You say he's getting some backlash
He's
album?
getting some backlash, a little bit for the album, but more so kind of
for being white.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me.
It sounds like he getting backlash.
That's what it sounds like. Let's call it what it is.
It sounds like
Call it what it is, man.
He getting backlash for being good at rapping while white.
That's crazy.
That's what it sounds like.
He dope.
That's what it sounds like. It's not about his album. His album's good. I think most people think his album is good. I think so.
It's crazy. I actually saw this post on Instagram, and it was from like this like a hip hop blog or a music blog, and it actually rated his album a 3 out of 10.
Wow.
I can't do that.
Wow.
I said, how could you rate an album that has Snoop, Pharrell, Justin Timberlake, Drake, and Wayne on it a 3? Them names alone, there's no way that a project could be 3 out of 10.
Well, maybe
there's no way.
Maybe those names make the judging scale harder, right? Because you got all these guys on this album, it needs to be fire. So it's a little more harsh.
3 out of 10, dude?
I don't know.
3.
I don't know, but I like Jack Harlow. And I think he's getting a lot of criticism, which sucks. As just him being an artist, it sucks because like a lot of things that are, you know, he can't control his skin color, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he's just, you know, he's stepping into a field in an arena that is dominated. That's, you know, something that started with our culture, you know. But I mean, I think he can rap, man. I think he can rap. I think his album's good, and I just feel like people should get off his back for not knowing, you know, everything about hip hop.
Where was his backlash at when What's Poppin' was out?
That's true.
Where was his backlash then?
That's true.
A year and a half ago, nobody was talking this shit about him. Everybody was talking about, so What's Poppin'? Brand new whip just hopped there.
I never thought about that part.
Well, it was he was doing an interview, and they played some music for him, and it was the intro to a Brandy song, which a lot of people didn't know.
Bro, I saw the interview with Ebro. I didn't know the song when it first came on. I am a Brandy fan, bro.
So for our listeners, they were playing a song for Jack Harlow. It was the intro to a Brandy song. They asked him who the artist was before the beat dropped, correct?
No, this is before the beat dropped. This is just on the intro of the song. It was before a voice.
Okay.
Before a voice appeared on the beat, over the beat.
So before Brandy began singing, and they asked him who it was, he was like, I don't know. They continued to play the song, and then he was like, I don't know. They was like, we'll give you a hint. It was like, her brother is known for putting on half of Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know. And they kept playing it, and then he says, Aaliyah.
Yep. Because of the voice. Yeah.
Because of the voice. He hears the voice.
He said Aaliyah.
He said Aaliyah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And they're just like, yo, like, you don't know this? And honestly, I think a lot of the backlash came from, if you listen to his album, he has a lot of R&B samples on his album. So I feel like people expected him, just the expectations. We talk about expectations all the time. Expectations will leave you with the most frustration. Mm-hmm. So I think people expected him to know who it was simply because his album held a lot of samples. So people began to call him a cultural appropriator.
Man. See, that don't even make no sense to me, bro. Because like, what does knowing a Brandy song have anything to do with hip hop?
What does knowing a Brandy song
or not knowing a Brandy song have anything to do with hip hop? I don't compete in the R&B world.
Yes.
Regardless of what my samples are, right? Like that's not my space.
Is it hip hop or is it culture? Because maybe it's not hip hop.
I think it's culture.
Maybe it's not hip hop, right?
Culture.
If we're talking about culture,
I'm saying like, what's the backlash for? Is because like you don't know everything in and out about the culture, or is it you don't know hip hop?
Okay, so let's get into that then. Let's get into cultural appropriation. Let's get into that. By Jack Harlow being a white rapper, he's white and he raps. He's within the hip hop genre. Let's just start there. Do you feel like he's appropriating by that? Because I don't think we had these conversations with Eminem. Well, we didn't as our younger generation. Maybe the older generation did, but we didn't have these conversations with Eminem.
By just being a rapper.
By just being a rapper that's white, because you're in a predominantly black industry at that point. Do you feel like people say he's a cultural appropriator simply because he's white?
No.
Or, well,
no.
What's cultural appropriation mean first and foremost?
Shit, I'm still trying to figure it out, right?
Okay.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that culture appropriation is people taking certain practices or certain just a lifestyle, right, and implementing those things into their own lifestyles and not giving credit to where they got it from. Great
definition. Great personal definition. Because I'll read the actual definition. Cultural appropriation is the unacknowledged or inappropriate adoption of practices, customs, or aesthetics of one social or ethnic group by members of another, typically dominant community or society.
So what's the operative word?
Dominant.
Did you say inacknowledged or unacknowledged?
Unacknowledged.
That's the operative word. Mm-hmm. So if I acknowledge it, I can't appropriate something I acknowledge. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So if I'm a Jack Harlow, do I have to, and I'm using him as an example, right? I don't know if he's actually fits the bill, but if I'm a Jack Harlow and I don't verbally say, hey, I got my sound from this guy, or I started to rap because I was inspired by this guy, right? But it's in my music, but the people I'm around says it, right? But I acknowledge just being, I acknowledge being inspired by just the cultural icons. Isn't that enough? Or do I have to spell it out for guys?
I feel like it's enough. I feel like it's enough because if we use somebody else, let's use another name like Eminem, we didn't require this from him, you know? You could use another artist that's not a rapper. Let's use Justin Timberlake. We didn't require that from Justin Timberlake, you know what I mean? So why is it that we're requiring it from Jack Harlow today?
Well, I know
what is different about Jack Harlow that's unlike.
Well, Justin Timberlake wasn't a rapper, so
he still was participating in our culture. So that's
for sure.
I mean,
he came in under Timberland, bro.
I think that right there is it right there though.
Okay, so Eminem comes in under Dr. Dre and Jack Harlow comes in under DJ Drama.
Okay, perfect. Who's DJ Drama? Is DJ Drama a black man?
DJ Drama not black?
I'm gonna be honest.
DJ Drama not black?
I'll be honest.
I don't know if he's black.
I don't know if he's black.
I don't think he's black.
So like, I think it's kind of like a unspoken pass that Eminem got with Dr. Dre, because it was like, yo, Dr. Dre is giving him the pass. That means we kind of give him the pass.
So he doesn't have to acknowledge for himself.
So he doesn't have to do it all the time for himself, right? Justin Timberlake, he had Timberland. Like, oh, okay, he kind of get that pass. Like, I even looked up Jack Harlow's producers, right? Just I'm like, okay, like where can Jack Harlow's producers aren't black either. So like, I'm like, ugh, okay, maybe that is what makes it difficult. He hasn't got that cosign from somebody who kind of just took him under his wing and walked him in. I mean, if let's look up DJ Drama.
Hold up though. But wouldn't you say having Drake on your album, Wayne on your album, Pharrell on your album, producing as well as being featured on the album, Snoop on the album, a cosign?
Oh, that's true though.
A cosign? Bro.
I look at it as they getting checks too, though.
I mean,
like, I don't look at it as like, yo, I'm taking this guy on because like I believe.
No, but it's not even about that. It's about like how like they're addressing him on the track. Like even like Snoop comes on and he's like, yo, Jack, that's pimping right there, fam. Like just the way he talking to him is like, yo, you got that, right? Even in Drake referred to him as like, yo, like you up next.
Yeah, he going places. Yeah,
you up next, basically. You know what I mean? So like he getting a cosign from the legends. He getting a cosign from the juggernauts, bro. There's not one person that's featured on that album that I grew up idolizing and didn't want to be like or didn't want to be featured with or want to work with, you know, in their career. Not one person. Yeah. So like why aren't those people good enough for the cosign? Like why do I have to come out here and stand on the ledge and say and pay homage?
Hey, you also notice that we only try to charge people with cultural appropriation when they're good. It's the only time we try to charge people. Right? I've never heard of somebody getting charged with cultural appropriation when they trash.
When they good at what?
What they do.
Or
good at what they do, or good at what they're doing, I should say. Right? Because if Jack Harlow's trash, are you really cultural appropriating if you trash?
You are though.
But
we don't care.
We don't care.
We don't care. So
right,
we're not gonna say that.
When you good.
We can't say that because it could be like, okay, now we're gonna continue to transition into cultural appropriation. If a black woman, I'm gonna use specifically a black woman, sees a random white girl walking down the street with braids, she's gonna say something about it. She's gonna say that she's culturally appropriating. She's gonna say that. She's not gonna be like, she's not that cute, so I'm not gonna say anything about it. She's gonna say something. So to Duke's point, only if somebody's good. Because now when we're talking about cultural appropriation, it has no ground to stand on, if that's the case. Because if you have to wait till something bothers you because of another characteristic or another trait rather than just what it is, it has no ground to stand on.
And that's why I think cultural appropriation is tricky, because it varies based on the individual, like he said. Right? Eminem, Justin Timberlake, all these people, regardless if they got the cosign, like it is what it is. Is it cultural appropriation or not? Nothing outside of that should matter. You know what I'm saying? The definition said unacknowledged. You acknowledge it. Don't like, regardless of Timberland acknowledge it, regardless if Dr. Dre acknowledges it, you acknowledge it. Did you? If you didn't, it should be cultural appropriation. That's what I think. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like if that was the case, that would be it. But I feel like it's not the case, because these guys verbally don't have to say it, but I think verbally through their actions they show it. Right? They probably show love to black people. They probably have, once they get on, they put black people on their features. Right? Eminem found 50. Right? So I mean, that's probably him paying his dues and acknowledging.
This also isn't the first time Jack Harlow has been in the media for these type of things. Jack Harlow had within his debut album, I think he was
something with the cover, right?
The cover he had black women on his cover, and
people were mad about that.
People were upset about that.
That's a lose-lose, bro.
In whose favor?
For him. Mm-hmm. That's a lose-lose.
Putting black women on the cover?
Yeah, I mean, because if he puts black women on the cover, you can say, hey, you're cultural appropriated. If you put a white woman on the cover, it's like, hey, yo, like, you're a rapper. Like, you're a rapper. What's up? Like, make some room for black women. It's a lose-lose. That's a lose-lose. People are trying to pick and choose what they want to be mad at. Right?
It's actually just a black woman.
It's one.
It's one.
How? That's not cultural appropriation. Yeah. And then also
that's what he liked.
Also then like at what point?
That's what he liked.
At what point do we just say, okay, this person is inspired by black people. This person probably grew up around black people. This probably wants to employ black people. He probably feels comfortable around black people and black culture. At what point?
His homie's probably black.
At what point do we just say, oh man, this is is it homage? I don't know, but maybe it's not cultural appropriation. Maybe it's just like, this is preference. Because we don't know everyone's story, right? I just can't look at somebody and based off their skin color and say, okay, you're not like me. I mean, you can, as far as race goes, but as far as his upbringing, I'm not sure I can say that.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying with all things being fair. With all things being fair, everything being on an equal playing field. The interesting part about this definition that I've never read before, and we talked about this before, but the interesting part about this definition is typically dominant community or society. And that unacknowledgement coming from a typically dominant community or society. So you saying, oh man, it's kind of, people kind of should know, that grace doesn't exist in that because he is in a typically dominant community or society. He is in a typically dominant space by his skin color solely. So within that being said, you can't not acknowledge it. You can't not be like, they're supposed to know. It's not like if Omar's a rapper and he say a line from Blueprint 2 that everybody knows and they like, everybody know that's from Blueprint 2. It don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. He has to acknowledge it.
But everyone is mad over it. He didn't pick the song.
No, I'm not.
You know what I mean?
I'm
basically what you were just saying. If I pull a lyric from the Blueprint 2 and use it in my shit, you know what I mean? Like that was my choice, right? I didn't get on Ebro in the morning and say, "Yo, play that song and let me guess it." Nah, you guys made that choice, right? But like I probably do know about culture. Things that that I'm curious about and that I care about, and things that like meant something to me, but Brandy may not mean nothing to me. And that doesn't mean that like I'm what is it? Culture
appropriate.
Culture. Oh,
the same thing.
That same thing. It doesn't mean I'm a culture vulture or a culture appropriated. You know what I mean? That's just like not what I'm into, and I'm not wrong for that. You know what I mean? What if she was never one of my inspirations, or I wasn't influenced by her. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe I know you guys talk about her being like one of the greatest vocalists of all time. What if I don't feel like that?
Oh, you can't not feel like that.
I'm just saying, you can though.
No, you can't not feel like that. That's like saying I don't feel like Jordan's one of the best basketball players of all time. You can't.
You can't feel like that, bro.
No, you can't feel like that.
Yes, you can.
No,
you can though.
You're lying to you. You're lying to you.
I feel like that, but someone
can though, bro.
Like that.
Someone can. Listen, for the record,
that's not the same foundation of an argument, right? I think across it's very possible that someone could leave Brandy out of the top 5 vocalists.
I would definitely leave her out of the top 5.
They're not educated in the space.
They're not educated in the space, but someone that's not even educated to tell you Michael Jordan, the best basketball player, one of the top 5, not even educated. So it's different.
It's only different because sports is much more popular in that space. That's the only way it's different. If it's even playing field and somebody's educated, there's nobody who's going to say that Brandy is not a top 5 vocalist.
Sidebar, man. I want to know from the people, man. Down below in the comments, drop it. Who are the top 5 female vocalists of all time? I gotta know.
Wait,
I gotta know.
Let me ask you this, and then we get right back. Is Christina Aguilera up there?
Best female vocalist?
Top 5?
No. I don't know.
Is she?
I don't know. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy, but like
Dammy said yeah.
That's
Okay.
crazy. I think Kelly Price up there, fam.
Oh,
top 5 vocalists, female vocalists of all time.
I get mine after Whitney.
Whitney.
You know what?
Whitney.
I am a big Jennifer Hudson fan.
She's a big voice.
I think
Big, strong voice.
I think she's
I'm
up there.
gonna throw you guys a wild card. I'm gonna throw y'all a super wild card. Yolanda Adams.
Okay.
I seen her sing next to Fantasia one day, and I always thought Fantasia could really sing.
Yeah.
And she was singing next to Fantasia. I said, ooh, Yolanda's bodying her right now. You know.
How do we feel?
And you know we young, so like, don't kill us.
Yeah,
if we
don't
know
kill us,
people
guys.
from the 60s and 70s, and
Would someone from the era put Diana Ross in there?
I can't even hear her voice.
I think not as a vocalist.
I
don't
can't
know
hear her voice,
I don't think
bro.
they'll do it as a vocalist.
I don't even know that. I don't
Jasmine
have
Sullivan.
Jasmine
you know,
Sullivan.
Yeah.
She one of them.
Yeah, she one of them ones.
Yeah, she
definitely
one of them ones. But I definitely got to put Christina Aguilera in there.
Kelly Rowland?
Nah.
Kelly Rowland?
No.
Nah.
She can't blow like that.
Nah. But we love you, Kelly.
But we love you, Kelly. No. Nobody put Beyonce in there.
Nah, she's
Beyonce's greatest of all time, though.
Yes,
So
yeah.
it's like
What?
who cares? She's the greatest of all time.
So it don't even matter. I don't give a fuck what kind of vocalist you are. You're the greatest.
Nah,
Just one more. One more.
One more?
Yeah, just one
We need one more?
We just get one more. Let's move.
Say we got Yolanda, Jasmine, say Christina, Whitney, Brandy.
There you
Brandy.
There you go.
There you go. There you go.
Brandy, that's the top 5 right there.
There you go. Hey, if you guys agree with our top 5, then drop in the comments that you agree. If you don't,
Nah. Hold on, we gotta rewind. That top 5 cannot fly.
What's up?
Nah, we cannot lead the top. We cannot just get on without putting Mariah in the top 5.
Mariah.
There is no way.
I was thinking about Mariah, but me personally, I'm not crazy big on
You
Mariah.
can't just
like
listen
that.
to her like.
Nah.
She's amazing though.
Nah.
She's amazing. She can do things with her voice. I mean, now
First of all, we dumb sleep. We're dumb sleep.
I was about to start saying, if we start having a Mariah conversation, we got to throw Ariana Grande in there. Like, it's the whole thing.
Adele.
I'm standing on what I said.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm standing on what
Y'all
I said.
sleep.
Nah, I'm not
Hey,
throwing
I
Adele.
do like
What?
Mariah though. I do like Mariah, but you know they all go Tiger Road.
Tina?
Who? Who'd you say? I can't hear you.
Tina.
Oh,
Tina Turner?
No?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. Y'all let us know. Drop in the comments.
Y'all
Drop
let
in the
us
comments.
know about that. I did want to. It was making me think. We was talking about the Jack Harlow thing, and we kind of like transitioned to Eminem a little bit, and how we just kind of talked about Eminem. And I also think this is a different generation. That's the most important thing. I think this is a totally different generation.
Sure.
As far as when we're talking about like cultural appropriation, I feel like our generation was more of a it was more of a separatist generation, our generation, and this young generation now it's much more collaborative. These kids grew up watching what we created, and we can't tell somebody because they're not black that they can't enjoy something the same way that a black kid enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. You know, because like hip hop was created. What was hip hop created in the late 70s, 80s?
Yeah.
Like hip hop was actually being created and molded.
It's not even 50 years old.
Cool, right? It was a very, very unpopular genre of music. It was very, very unpopular. 90s hip hop became more popular. In the 2000s, hip hop became the most popular music genre out there. So the kids that were born in the late 90s to the early 2000s, they grew up with it being the most popular music genre out there. It wasn't like how we grew up to where it was just like, nah, like you had to have a hard life and it had to be tough. Like, nah, they grew up and this was their pop culture.
Yeah.
So when we look at kids and, you know, whether they're white, Mexican, Asian, Indian, diving in to hip hop, and they just like, yo, like, I just love it because it was so popular. It was the first thing that when I came to America, I seen.
Yeah. It's how I learned English.
It's how I learned English.
Yeah.
It's how I learned the slang. It's how I learned how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
I feel like it's almost unfair to say you're appropriating. Now I kind of feel like when things become pop culture, it kind of becomes very, very difficult to appropriate. I don't think it's like as if I'm just a regular black dude and I wear custom clothes on a Monday. I think that's cultural appropriation. Why am I wearing custom clothes, dude? Why would I do that? Just cause it's no event, it's nothing. I'm just wearing it because I feel like this fit is fly, and it's like I think it gets a little bit tough. So I'm saying now, how can we be a generation where we say we want to collaborate, but every time somebody collaborates with what we do or what we like or what we know, we say it's appropriation?
We have to evolve our thinking, just like the times are evolving and the culture is evolving and the genre of music is evolving. You know, our mentals have to evolve. You know what I mean? Like just like what you were saying, like hitting back to it being a different time. Like back then, you had to do your homework. You had to study on who were the top 5 illest MCs in the world, because like I got to make sure my rhymes is right. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have the access to, you know, a plethora of music on every streaming platform that's available to find artists that are all over the world. You didn't have that. You had to do real homework. Now today these kids don't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's not even that hard to get into the studio and make a song. I mean, studio is right here in your closet now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so like it is different, and we shouldn't hold them to the same standard. The standard has to change.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you know, I think what we just have to do is people just evolve our thinking. You know what I mean? And once we evolve our thinking, then we wouldn't consider it culture appropriating. You know, I don't think that's my opinion on that.
It's not the same.
It's not.
It's just different, man. I think that we just have this thing where we try to just hold on to every single thing and hoard everything that we feel like we started and not let no one else touch it.
Yeah.
And be the gatekeepers for it. And again, it changes by person.
Yep.
By person. Some people we say, yo, like it's cool, you can fuck with it. If we like you, it's all good. It doesn't come off as culture appropriation. Also, don't get too big. Because if you get too big, now we got to call you out for it.
Too big, too fast.
Don't get too big, too fast. Now we got to call you out for it. But if you just become successful, but not get too big and don't get bigger than the people that started it, all right, cool. But once you start getting bigger than the people that started it, that's when it's a problem, right? And when we make things, bro, the way I think it should be, bro, once we put it out into the world, it's out in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's out in the world, right? We can't try to, you know, hoard things and say this is ours and no one else can experience it. You know why? Because we don't do that.
Yeah.
When people put other things out in the world, we go experience it.
Yep.
Lil Nas is a country artist.
Bro, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'll say 2 years ago, the shoe was on the other foot.
Lil Nas is a country artist.
Yeah.
And as a black community, and Lil Nas being one of our, you know, people, how would we feel if people were telling him and that
Well, they were.
And say, hey, okay, hey, yo, you're culture appropriating. We're like, nah, man, he liked country music.
That's what they told him.
He likes country music, bro. And who are we to say, like, we're gonna be now? Look, when the country music folk is telling them, hey, yo, you're culture appropriating, yo, we're gonna get behind Lil Nas and say, hey, no, you're not.
Yep.
Right? You believe in that, stand in that. Yep. The same way that's the same way in the same mentality we gotta take into Jack Harlow.
Yep.
It's the same way, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just don't understand, you know, like the issue. It's just the issue. Like, it's okay that people can experience our culture. It's okay.
It's okay.
Because we do it too.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So disappointed in you.
That's the whistle. I left.
Come on, bruh. Another week.
I left my whistle at home. Flag on the play.
Flag.
What's the deal, y'all? Welcome back to the Nice and Neat Halftime Show. I'm your host, Omar. We're having a great discussion here about Jack Harlow, culture appropriation, culture vultures, all of the good stuff, man. It's at some point we got to pick a side, man. I know what side I'm leaning on, but you know we'll get to that towards the end of the episode. But you know what we do here is we play games, man. One of our favorite games that we like to do is play Dim the Rules, man. I think we have a great Dim the Rules topic today, and
okay.
I'm excited to get into it. Dude, talk to us, man. What we got?
All right, so we're talking about culture appropriation, right? And we all know, well, we should know that, you know, people that aren't black should not be saying the N-word, right?
Do we know that?
We should know. That's what I said.
Do they know?
We should know. We all should know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone knows, but we should know, right?
Okay.
And we understand that, but we also understand that they get it from us, right? So what I want to ask you guys is, do you guys think that we as black people should not say the N-word around our non-black friends? Do you guys think, as black people, right, to mitigate other people that aren't black?
Mitigate?
To mitigate other people that aren't black saying the N-word, obviously you can't stop everybody. Do you think that we need to do a better job and just not say the N-word around people that are not black?
You know what? I'll even take it a step further for you. I don't think the word should just be used like that. Even around a lot of people who are black. But like, if you're not like close with those people.
You mean at all?
No. I didn't say at all. Slow down, Turbo.
Slow down, Turbo.
No, because I don't think, for example, let's say if you meet a new black dude,
You shouldn't say.
I don't think you should just greet him with that.
Like, what's up, man?
Yeah. Now I think you should reserve the word for your, for your friend. The word should be reserved for people who you already feel comfortable with, for people who you spend your time with.
Okay.
For people who when you're utilizing the word as a term of endearment, those are the people who you should use the word for.
I got you.
As a black man, as a black person, I think that's where, because the generation above us, a lot of them look at it as it's like such a negative context. It's a very negative word, because, and rightfully so for them, they seen how powerful the word was in a very, very negative light. Mm-hmm. Us, we had the ability to see the transition of the word to where people began to use it as a term of endearment. Mm-hmm. So for us, I still think the word still should be held and be very, very sacred still. It's a very, very sacred word, very, very powerful word. It has so much feeling and meaning toward it as well. But like, I still think you should reserve it for your closer friends.
Yeah. You got something?
No, go ahead.
No, what I was going to touch on is just I wish that, both sides, black and other, were just more educated on the origin of the word. You know what I mean? Like if people were more educated on the origin of the word, whenever it is said, it would come from a different place, a different meaning. Like if we do first of all, we all get everyone hears the word mostly from music, right?
Right.
And like one dope album that I thought really highlighted this was To Pimp a Butterfly. And Kendrick had a song on the album where he kind of just broke down the word niggas. He spelled it Negus, you know what I mean? And he just gave us like some real game on it, which made me do my own research on the word, you know what I mean? And like niggas means king, emperor, like royalty, you know what I mean? So like when you use the word from that perspective, if we all thought about that when we heard it, you know what I'm saying? I think it would resonate a lot differently,
right.
And maybe we wouldn't be having these type of conversations, but because it's been used in such a derogatory manner over the course of all of our lives, it becomes such a touchy subject when whoever decides to use it. So like, I just wish that just like anything in life, we took our time to educate ourselves more on topics that we don't necessarily know about, you know what I'm saying? And we're thinking about like you touched on like the history of the word, and that's like just one part of history. Mm-hmm. Like let's go further back than that, and really get the real history of the word and where it originated from and why they called us that and all of those things, if we have that understanding, then I think we could have a different conversation. But until we have that common understanding, then I don't think it's okay for them to use it. And maybe we shouldn't be using it as much in front of them because we give them the pass, It's like if you walk up and I'm like, yo, what's up, man? You know what I mean? And if he don't know us, it's like, okay, that's what they say, because it's like, it's a cool thing. It's like a circle of trust thing. And I feel like I'm in the circle because I'm always around, and you know what I mean? So it could easily, it doesn't happen with anybody that we know, but I could easily see how that could be like something where, someone feel like I could say it. You know what I mean? But maybe I think I would go ahead and say that we shouldn't say it, use it in front of them.
Yeah, I feel like we shouldn't.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I feel like that too, and to both of your points, right? Jalon mentioned that it's like you really only use it with people that you like really trust and love and you feel safe with, right? And you said, it kind of gives them the pass when they hear it, right? So two things are gonna happen. It's almost like the word should be like a secret handshake.
Yep.
You feel me? It's
you
like
know
that.
about secret handshakes, dude.
It's like I know a little bit about secret handshakes. You do them, but you cover it up.
Yep.
Right? But if you're doing the secret handshake in front of everybody,
what's secret about
it? Is it a secret?
Yeah.
And also, like, how valuable is it?
Yep.
And people over time, it's just like, oh, you guys are loose with this handshake. Y'all loose with this term of endearment. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Y'all teaching it to me.
Yep.
So eventually, I'm gonna start off saying it when you guys not here.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And now I'm gonna go show my homies a handshake.
Yep.
You know, and now we gonna say it.
Yep.
And now at some point, it's gonna be ingrained into us that, or it may even slip out, and then it's a problem, right? So I definitely think that we shouldn't even be doing that in front of people, right? And I know it's hard because we grew up saying that out loud anywhere.
Yep.
You feel me? But I think that if we do want to kind of control it a little bit, you know, and put like a monitor on it, then we should definitely be aware of how we're speaking to each other in public and not just like being loose mouth with it.
But like really, when we really think about it, is that really going to change anything anyway? Because like the music's not going to stop. They're not going to stop putting it in the music.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's not a reason. Well, that's not a reason that we shouldn't do something, right? Because we don't think it's going to change. If everyone does a little bit, things change, right? It just takes a little bit, and collectively it makes a difference. So we don't know that it's going to change or not, but we just know that it doesn't help it. And also, what I do know is if I do continue to say it openly, it just exacerbates the situation. You know what I mean? It just makes it bigger. It just puts flames on it. And just
as
like,
long as Dreams and Nightmares is playing in the club, people saying it.
People saying it.
Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished.
But this is not just like just for the common folks. It's for musicians too. They can put in their music, but still, like, who knows how they speaking in front of people? You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty.
Oh,
of
me
it.
too.
We have a friend.
Yeah.
Mahar.
Yeah.
We have a friend.
Yeah.
B-roll.
Yeah.
I say, what's up?
Yep.
Right in front of your face.
Yep.
Don't you dare say that shit. Don't you dare say that shit, B-roll. But yeah, I'm guilty, bro. And I'm just saying that I do think that we should we should definitely like put a cap on that. I mean, I think it, you know, whether we see the end result of or not, I think it'll do a little bit of something. All right?
Start planting the seed. The tree will grow.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm feeling that.
We agree?
So consensus says
we should stop saying that.
we should stop saying it in front of
In front of them.
In front of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But to your point, people do need to do research on what it means, like you said, because it's deep.
And even the spelling of it.
It's deep.
It's the spelling is completely different.
Give us a little background on real
deep.
quick.
On what?
The spelling of the word, where it come from?
The spelling of the word is Negus. Originated in like 1590 from a king emperor, right? That's how they addressed him. Negus. King, emperor, royalty, right? The head honcho. From there, all right, we get enslaved. They take the niggas and they call us negroids, right? Mm-hmm. We go from negroids to negroes. Mm-hmm. We go from negroes to niggers. We go from niggers, we hate the word, so we put our own spin on it. Niggas, right? So we end up back at the same place that we started, but now it's spelled completely different. It looks completely different, and it means something completely different. It went from a word of endearment and a word of royalty and hierarchy to
Slave. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Slave.
Definitely synonymous with slave.
You know,
slave.
treachery. Yeah.
It literally went from the top to the bottom. You know?
Okay.
And if we don't do our own history and go and turn the pages back, we'll never know that.
Yeah.
We'll always see it as slave. So if you always feel like if that's how you've been called, how do you see yourself being anything different?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like we just got to change that so we could change the narrative, and so we could achieve higher things in life, bro.
Yeah.
If we walk around thinking like we kings, we royalty, we queens, you're gonna start attracting that type of things. But if you walk around without even knowing, just subconsciously saying, "What up, slave? What up, slave?" You know what I mean? That's what you're saying without even knowing the meaning. You literally calling your brother a slave because you don't even understand where it come from or what it means, fam. But if I know, bro, this should mean king, fam. Like right now, it's a trend going around. Like brothers is seeing other brothers. What up, king? What up, king? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, if we use it with that,
it's empowering.
It's empowering.
It's healthy. Yeah.
It's healthy. You know what I mean? But like we don't know that, so we all got to do our homework, man.
Okay. And damn.
Duh.
Rules.
With that said, we're going to conclude this week's halftime show and get to the second half the only way we know how. That's with some positive energy, some positive vibrations, and a smile, of course, man. Second half, let's go.
In the first half, we addressed Lil Nas X as a country artist.
Yes.
Right? And I think this is the interesting part right here. This is the interesting part. We address him as a country artist. We know that he, honestly, truth be told, he probably had the biggest country hit in the last, for that year, for sure.
For sure.
For that year. I don't listen to enough other country songs to say that there was a bigger one, but that was the biggest one of the year. And I remember it was something that real controversial that happened. I just want to look it up to make sure I remember. But Billboard decided Old Town Road wasn't a country song and pulled it off of the country charts early.
Yep.
I'm not going to say anything, but why do you guys think that happened?
What do you mean?
Why do you think it happened?
Because they felt like he was culture appropriating.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And you know what happened after that? He gets a cosign. Who does he get a cosign from?
Billy Ray Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus's father. He gets a cosign. They put the song back on the Billboard charts. So, like, you do need a cosign.
Yes, but what I'm saying is black people were in uproar when it happened, right? So we do understand the idea of not growing up in a genre and being successful in it and wanting to be respected in that genre. We understand that idea.
Do we think that white people are in an uproar because Jack Harlow is not considered, or
I don't know how we feel about white people being in an uproar, but
I don't even think they're in an uproar about this.
But I just know that
I think we in an uproar about this.
That's what I'm saying, though.
This shit is stupid.
That's what I'm saying.
Stupid.
Why,
This shit is stupid.
Why are we in an uproar about this? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, we would do the same. We would want the same thing.
Absolutely.
And it's proven with the Lil Nas X. It's proven, bro. And that makes me ask y'all, I don't want to say is it fair, but can black people, by black people's definition, culturally appropriate?
By black people's definition or by the definition?
By black people's
What is black people's definition?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know how it looks written out. I just know how it feels. By black people's definition, right? By uproar, based on the uproar in the last 10 years of everyone calling this person, do black people think that they can culture appropriate? That's just like, for real, like, just, do y'all think that black people feel like they can cultural appropriate?
And it's okay. Is that what you're saying? Like they could do it.
Or do
Now,
you think they
cultural
feel like they
appropriation
can
is
just-
never okay. That's what
Okay.
that's what it is, right?
Is it not?
Cultural appropriation is never it's never a good thing. That's what I'm trying to say. If
Okay.
you're appropriating something, it's never a good thing.
Let's just call it being a culture vulture.
Okay.
I think this just is easier.
Okay.
This is easier.
Okay.
Because a vulture is it's aggressive. Okay. So culture vultures, never good.
Never good.
They call Kim Kardashian a culture vulture.
Okay.
Rachel Dolezal.
Rachel
I never was quite like hip to the whole story. I just know she was white pretending to be black, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's like blueprint culture vulture right there. That's
It doesn't get any much clearer than that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, don't answer the question. Don't answer the question. But is there any element of fairness when we're talking about culture appropriation with black people and others, or black people and white people?
Being honest,
Being honest.
no,
Okay.
it's not fair.
Okay.
It's not fair. But now, if I'm gonna go back to this definition. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not fair. It's not fair because I honestly believe the reason why black people get so infuriated when it comes to it is because they don't mentally feel like they're operating from a more dominant space. So everyone else
feel inferior.
We feel inferior.
We feel inferior.
So to be inferior already mentally, and someone takes something, the smallest thing that you got, and it's like, this is all that I have, and you're gonna take this from me? You're a culture vulture. You're taking something from me.
And that stems from the feeling of being inferior.
Yes.
That's where it stems from. So if we felt as black people as a dominant race,
Truly.
if we truly felt like, I'm truly feel like the dominant race, then a white lady having cornrows would be like, haha, it's trying to be like us.
No, not even. It wouldn't even go that far. If you truly felt like the dominant race, you want more people to do what you do. Look at it. Look at it. This is awesome. These people going to the doctor to get hips to look like me. Like, that is awesome. These guys are cutting waves in their hair so they could look like me. That's dope. They buying do-rags. You know what? Maybe I should open up a do-rag line because and sell it. I'm gonna sell this do-rag line to Mexican people and white people because they're gonna do what we gonna do anyway. That's the way you would operate if you were
The dominant race.
mentally more dominant. But when you operate from a place of inferiority, you feel and you look at things that you feel like you should be able to hold on to that nobody can ever have access to, and you look at those things and you just be like, you're stealing something else from me. You took something else from me.
It's like the big brother type.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Your big brother gonna always be your big brother.
Yeah.
So like when he already dressed better than you, he already looked better than you, he already got more than you, and then he take your girlfriend. And it's like, bro.
Why are we so quick to want to fight over something that doesn't even belong to us?
Because we don't have nothing. And that's why we feel like that.
Music doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to everybody.
Yeah. It's something you share.
We share it.
Music is something we share.
It's one of the few things in life that we all share. So like, why are we fighting? Why are we fighting over getting mad over
Who
this?
should be able to do what type of music? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. When you think about that, who should be able to do what type of music is crazy. But not even just music though, right? Just hairstyles. How we dress. Right?
Hairstyles are a little specific though.
So is how we dress. Right? Let me ask you something. Is streetwear a black person thing?
It's an urban thing.
It's an urban thing.
What's urban mean?
I knew you was
Let me ask you something. Okay, let's just say
That's a transcendent word for black.
Do you think like streetwear is like a black person thing, a black person's style?
I don't.
Just like I guess like what do you think?
Streetwear is a young person's style.
A young person style. Okay. Hip hop 80s. What was our style?
B-boy.
B-boy. Jumpsuits. Things like that, right?
Rope chains.
Okay. Was European cut suits ever our style?
No, it's a European thing.
Wasn't, right? Has slim tailored stuff
Now we had
has ever been our black people's style?
It is now.
I don't think so. Like slim cuts, fitted, like I don't really think so.
No.
Right?
I mean, 1920s.
I'm just saying, yes.
Harlem Renaissance.
Right? But I'm saying though now.
You think they was tailored like that?
I think they was tailored down.
Not
It was
like
tailored.
what I'm saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I know that everywhere you look, we gotta have a slim tailored fit, nice to our physique type suit, clothes, right?
Yeah.
And that's not something that we started, but it's something that we partake in, right? Are we culture appropriating?
Nah, I think that's different. That's fashion. I think, and when I say fashion, I mean like fashion, like for example, our parents in the 70s would wear bell bottoms, but like it wasn't like a specific group of people that was wearing bell bottoms, and then people was like, I'm gonna wear bell bottoms. At the runways, when they were like, hey, yo, this is gonna be the fashion for the years, there was like, yo, this is what we want to spread out to the masses. And those are what those looks are. So when you say what our style was, that is a specific style. Like, for example, I'll go extreme. like a cholo, a essay, they dress a very, very specific way.
That's true.
So if you dress the way they dress, you can't just be like, oh man, it's just I'm kind of just this fashion thing. Like, nah, you're specifically taking it from. They weren't on any runways. They weren't getting any acknowledgement from any of the big designers. Valentino never said like, hey, yo, this is the look that we're gonna create, and then we want to spread this out to the masses. It was for that specific group of people. And just speaking to like why we get upset, I think part of the reason why we get upset is just not getting the credit. And then we're creating something, not getting credit, and then the dominant race in that situation gets the credit that we never got for what we created by following what we did. And I think that's where the appropriation really like lives. So that's where the frustration is, because everything you're saying is right, but that's off of the backs of years and years of not getting credit. It's like off of the backs of years and years of not getting any acknowledgement. Yeah. And like now we'll get much more acknowledgement because we can control our narrative a little bit better.
So cultural appropriation, cultural vultures. Do we really consider anyone else that isn't white cultural vultures?
Yeah.
Do we?
Why aren't Asians considered cultural vultures?
I don't know.
Like maybe they wear more Supreme than black folks.
But who started Supreme?
I'm talking. It's just a streetwear brand, right? Like I'm going back to us talking about streetwear. Streetwear is you're saying streetwear is a black thing, right?
Yo, but like things like that, if we didn't create it, it's not ours. We didn't create it.
You talking about Supreme, or you
think? Yeah,
I'm talking about the style. That's more so what I was meant. That's what more so what I was getting at when I said that they were more Supreme than, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I mean, I'm talking about just the streetwear in general.
If we didn't create it, it's not ours. I don't think that's fair to say. Creation takes resources. So
how can something that we didn't create be ours?
Well,
What's one thing that's ours that we didn't create? I should say.
I believe something that's ours is the hip hop style of the late 2000s. Baggy jeans, jerseys, like we didn't create none of those. That's where they seen the input for. He was like, oh, you know what? I can. What's my man? The shark name? The black dude. To where he was like, Damon. He was like, you know what? I could make jerseys. And he created FUBU for us by us. It was just that was the style we were wearing. We were spending a lot of money, putting a lot of money into that, putting a lot of money into the economy. And he was just like, you know what? How about we create something? So it's a lot of stuff that we do that we don't create, but it's a lot of times we don't have resources. Like when you think about a lowrider, like what you think about?
LA.
Essays.
Like, do you think that lowriders were created in LA and created by essays?
No.
No, they weren't. But it's just something that they was just like, you know what, this is ours.
Right.
This is ours. We're gonna do this.
I got you.
You know, so it's a lot of things, like things take resources.
Yeah.
The majority of things that people gonna create, we talked about this before, like the majority of things that people gonna create, it's not gonna come from the people who utilize it the most. It's just what it is, you know. But all people are asking for that say it's, you know, cultural appropriation. And I'm sure it's plenty of other races and ethnicities that feel like other people are infringing on their culture and infringing on the clothes that they wear and the style that they have and the things that they do. You know, I'm sure it's plenty of those people that feel that way, but you know, they feel that way because they're not getting credit for the origination of the style or whatever it was. You know, like, Duke, you dress a certain specific way. If you see somebody who meets you and they dressed a certain way before and they meet you and they kind of hang out with you and they start kind of putting certain stuff together, you're going to be like, oh, okay, like, he wearing what I'm wearing, right? But, like, let's say he never acknowledges you and blows up, creates an entire fashion line off of the back of the way you dressed, never gives you credit.
They call that shit Wall 22.
hey, right?
Hey,
that's funny.
That's funny. Wall 22.
That's funny, right? And he does that and never says anything, bro. You're gonna take it to the streets.
Correct. I agree. It's just that what I'm saying is if I do that too to somebody else, then it's a different argument. And what I'm saying is we all if we want to be technical and real, we all appropriate off of other cultures.
I agree.
Because everything is out in the world for us to share. And I said this before, once you put it out, it's not yours no more.
Straight up.
Once you put it out, it's not yours. The idea, you can be the catalyst and you can be the pioneer of it, bro, but you have no control over what people do with their inspiration, with the style, right? And the world is so big that people aren't just gonna like, at some point, you can start something, Jalon, you could be the catalyst of something, and in 10 years, it falls in someone else's lap. It's gone through so many different people before it even got to that person. Mm-hmm. For them to have to acknowledge you. You know what I'm saying? And that inspiration you had maybe came from somewhere else, right? So what I'm saying is, I do believe that we take shit from each other, but I feel like we all partake in that. You know what I'm saying? And that mindset that we all partake in that, it makes me slow to be just angered or upset or jealous or, you know, whatever when I see other people appropriating culture, right? I'm Nigerian. The world 5 to 10 years ago weren't playing Afrobeat music. I would have been awkward to play that shit in the club. You know what I mean? People weren't celebrating like that, right? But now everyone has to have an Afrobeat song on their album.
Facts.
And they're not African.
Yep.
You feel me? And there's people that said, I'm not African and I'm different, I'm American, I'm not African, but still celebrate the music, play the music, put this type of music in their songs or albums or whatever. And I sit back and I'm saying, shit, well, I mean, it be African people trying to rap like American people. It be African artists trying to rap like American artists.
What if you're an American artist and you try to rap like...
I'm just saying though, like, it's like, the reason the African artist can't be like,
that's where the appropriation lives.
Right
what?
there.
Right there.
Where?
Because that's the dominant.
What, if you're what, African?
No.
No, if you're American...
If you're American, like if I'm American and I start saying, oh, this Indian sound is kind of on the buzz.
And you start rapping like them.
And I start doing that and I blow up off of it.
And you blow up
in America.
in America.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's where the appropriation lives.
That's
correct.
That's what Drake be doing.
I think Drake is one of the biggest appropriators of all time.
Oh, Drake's one of my favorite artists. But if that's what we're saying, that's what he be doing. He'll hear an accent, hop on and flip the whole accent. He'll have 3 songs on the album with a Jamaican accent. He'd be like, yo, I ain't even know this dude was Jamaican. Like, this dude Canadian.
Yeah, and I agree, but I've also seen that Afrobeats blew up. He had a lot to do with Afrobeats blowing up in America, which is the biggest hub in the world. Right? So if you get America, you get everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? If you get America, you get everywhere. Right? I would even argue that America celebrated Afrobeats, made music in Africa bigger.
Yep.
You feel me? Because they looking at these guys is capturing America now. Okay, let's these guys is it. Right? So like I think that everything is symbiotic, man. And I feel like I take from you, you take from me. I take from your culture, you take from my culture. You know what I mean? Like I just think that's how it is, man. I feel like I'm of that position where it's just like I accept that.
Yeah.
I accept that. And if I don't accept that, then I'm fighting everybody for trying to culture appropriate because I can look at everything we do as this is ours. You know, the way we rap, the way we dance, how we dress, the tattoos we have, you know, everything. The words, everything.
I will say this about Drake. I said he's one of the biggest appropriators of all time, but in just context, in the way that we speaking, I love what Drake does.
Me too.
I love what Drake does because Drake doesn't just use it and like not say anything. Like Drake will bring that artist onto his song. You know, Drake will bring that artist onto his album. Drake will do a song with that artist. I think one of the biggest things for Drake, you know, as we talking about him, that I think that makes him so dope, that he's helping the world out with actually, is making the world smaller to where it's hey, yo, let's just we're here now. We don't live in the time to where everything was so separated and segregated to where, hey, yo, if you on the West Coast, you have to sound like a West Coast rapper. If you in the South, you have to sound like a Southern rapper. If you on the East, you have to sound like a New York rapper. But Drake was like, I'm going to go to Atlanta. I'm going to go to New Orleans. I'm going to sound how they sound. I'm going to let them know that it's cool to change your sound and your cadence up. Okay, cool. I'm going to do a song. I'm going to do a song with an Afro beats artist. I'm gonna let them know it's cool to sound like this. It's all right. You know, I'm gonna bring Skepta to America and let him do his thing so people could know, like, yo, it's okay to intermingle and it's okay to do those things. As we speak about music like that, I think people just begin to look at everything kind of like that. The world is getting so much smaller, so much smaller. I could see you wearing certain outfits that you would have never worn 20 years ago, but because we have access to it and people could see certain outfits, it can even appeal to the eye to where it's like, oh shoot, Duke got a poncho on today. He kind of rocked that.
It's kind of hard.
It's kind of hard how he did that,
yep.
right? Like, but nobody's gonna say you appropriating. Like, you kind of just putting it together. You just putting it on. And I think the time has to transition. I think in the first half, we more so were speaking to the feelings of what people felt. Second half, I think we're being a little bit more honest with the reality of the situation and the time that we're in right now. We're in a time to where things overlap, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yep.
Like, you know, we was talking about this earlier. Black women wear blonde hair. There's no black people with blonde hair.
None. And if there are,
you know, so like, it's like, but you feel like it looked good. You seen it somewhere. It wasn't on your mama.
And it wasn't on that small group of black people that it wasn't from them, you know? It wasn't. Let's just be real.
But again, back to the definition. I don't want to get away from the definition. The definition is of one social or ethnic group, members of another, typically dominant. Right. So pretty much what the definition says is actually ruling out anybody who you are inferior to. So
correct. So that's why the only people that can appropriate by definition is white people. By definition.
I mean,
because
of their perceived dominance in society.
I mean, let's not just say perceived. Like, white people still have more resources. Yeah. So it's like, you know, the same exact way we broke this down. I know we're getting a little long-winded here, but just to get this information out, Duke, as you have your brand, the part of the reason why you can't sell your clothes for cheaper is because you can't order as many SKUs as a Nike can order. So right there, we're just simply talking about resources. You literally can sell the same exact thing as Nike, and they'll sell it much more expensive, but yours will be around the same price, and yours is simply just based off of your margins. Yours isn't based off of like, yo, I'm trying to make so much more money. Yours are right there based off of your margins. And people are like, why are you selling it for the same price as Nike? I have to sell it at this price. They want to sell it at that price, but they have the resources to get 100,000 pieces when Duke only get 100. So when people say appropriation, they're saying appropriation because they can make that what you discovered or what you made cool faster, way faster than you can, and that's why you don't get any credit for it. So that's the part that makes it really tough is the resources, and that's why they speak into the superiority or the dominant race or the dominant person in a situation. That's why I think the big brother, little brother was a good analogy because it's like, yo, bro, of course you could get my girl. You're 2 years older than her and you drive a car. Of course. I don't drive a car yet. I don't drive yet. Like, you got everything that she would want. Let me have something. And that's where the appropriation come from.
But yeah, man, so we are out of time, guys. So we got to wrap, unfortunately. I know you guys going to miss us and all. But fellas, you guys got anything left to say?
Yeah, I do, man. I want to know everyone's thoughts in the comments below about, well, for the viewers, listeners, man, I got on some new potential nice and neat merch.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? We trying some things out, man. Want to know y'all feedback, man. Drop it in the comments below. Are you liking it? You feeling it?
It's official survey. This is official survey.
No, seriously, we want to know.
So let me see the side.
We want to know, you know. Throw the nice and neat on there.
Looking real nice and neat.
Yeah, so yeah, just curious about y'all feedback. You know, we're in a space where we want to start putting out some merch, man, and keeping y'all dripped in some of our dopest things that we've said and done over the past 4 seasons. So yeah, just we're ready to get this thing going. You know what I mean? And really
Fresh, dog. You fresh, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. We trying to keep y'all fresh.
I got something for y'all next week.
We definitely got something else too. We actually got a few different things that we trying to roll out, but we definitely would love y'all feedback. So just drop it in the comments below. If you're listening, get to a computer ASAP once you finish driving or whatever it is that you're doing. Check out the merch, the hat that I got on, and give us that feedback.
John, you got anything?
I just want y'all to see what I put on next week.
All right.
We're breaking out the merch.
Okay.
Straight like that. But yeah, guys, appreciate you guys for listening, giving us your time. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate you guys for just like rocking with us and being patient with us. We know we've been gone, but we back. So make sure you follow us on all streaming platforms. Follow us on all social platforms. Follow us on Instagram individually. Follow Jalon at just.Jalon, Omar at Omar.Bowden, and myself at Duke. And yeah,
got some big shit coming.
Much love, much gratitude, guys. Yeah, man. Until next time, I'm Duke.
I'm Omar.
I'm Jalon. This is another episode of Nice and Neat, and that's that on that.
I'll be the one to take the risk to go and get them bands. I'll be the one to never sit and go and make a plan. Knowing my mother getting old and I don't got no time. Gotta keep a couple for the road, the rest get left behind. Yeah. To the hundreds, pledge allegiance, I stand.